Welcome back to another Sonic Adventure 2 video. This video is going to be a top 5 formed around my favorite sections in any of the Sonic Adventure 2 levels. The criteria I'm looking for is not necessarily that the stage itself has to be exceptional, but the section in question does. I'll kind of go over what makes a good section as we go on in the video, because for various reasons they will appear on this list, but I think we are good to go, so let's get on with it. I had hoped to include a treasure hunting stage on here, and I was able to justify it with Dry Lagoon, specifically the second half of the stage. This part of the stage is very interesting. I will admit that this obviously is a far cry from what makes a section necessarily super fun or thrilling, but I still find it an interesting location nonetheless, and was barely enough to justify this at its number 5 spot. It did prove to be quite difficult to find an eligible treasure hunting stage due to their design and not having the most standout sections, but one stage I did consider was the large tank in the middle of Meteor Herd where you go to get the treasure scope, but I figured that this was a little bit more accessible and thereby was more fair game, if that makes any sense, but I think with all that said, we can move on to number 4. For 4th place, we have Cosmic Wall's second rail section. This is the section that leads right into the end of the level. This section right here is fast-paced, which is what you want in a Sonic game, and you get to cause destruction while doing it. I did consider putting the first rail section here instead, but I decided on the second section solely for the fact you have that sort of vehicle chasing you at the end, which just adds a little bit of adrenaline. It's great to see that we had an opportunity to experience a faster-paced variation of a mech stage, and that's what this section is. It's fast-paced, it's fun, and ultimately very thrilling. Is it the best thing I've ever played? Definitely not. But it is a big win for the mech stages, and honestly, I wish these sections got a little bit more attention because they're a lot of fun. Hell, Eggman gets to do a loop-de-loop in this section. No other character besides the Hedgehogs gets to do that. I don't know, Cosmic Wall definitely deserved to be on this list somewhere just for that fact alone, so yeah, congratulations, we got a mech stage and a treasure hunting stage. With that though, we can go to number 3. I don't know what to necessarily call this section in Final Rush, but it does get number 3. We'll just call it the Ascendant section, where you're basically climbing up against one of the buildings of the Ark. This is littered with shortcut potential, and it makes it fun to traverse every single time. If you're trying to collect rings here or something, this section keeps you busy. There's a lot of goodies to collect along the way. It's just a very well-developed, well-thought-out section, and oh, it's so much fun. As you'll see on screen, we're heading towards a capsule shortcut. That, to me, it's just the perfect ribbon to put on this already amazing gift. This part of the stage is fantastic, and that's coming from a guy who loves Final Rush already, but this deserves a standing ovation. Amazing. The intended shortcuts are already great as it is, but the amount of player freedom we have here is what really boosts it in the upper echelon. There's so much creative liberty to take advantage of everything that there is to do, and when you do that, you feel unstoppable. This entire segment really complements and summarizes what Final Rush is supposed to represent as a whole. Final Rush's case is not only providing us with multiple routes to work with in our own time, but also giving us the creative liberty to say screw it to the rules and come up with our own stuff on the spot, regardless of what was intended and what wasn't. The single defining feature of a section like this, much like the entire level, is that it's a blank canvas that asks us to create our own art with it. I know it sounds like I'm looking into this a little bit too deeply in saying that, but honestly, it's true. It gives us the freedom to do whatever we want, however we want, and for that reason alone, number 3 could not have been a better picked spot for me. For number 2, it has to be the infamous missile section from Metal Harbor. I already made a short about how much I like this section, so it's time to put all those thoughts and feelings into a long-form format. This place rocks. For 15 seconds and 15 seconds only, you feel everything that you need to that's quintessential to a Sonic level. For such a short section, there's a lot of ways to do it, and the satisfaction you get from completing this never ever dies. It stays there forever. There's ways to exploit it, there's ways to do shortcuts, there's intended shortcuts, there's creative liberties. It's got everything that you'd ever want here. Really adheres to the charm of Metal Harbor. Short but sweet. I am almost 100% certain most people will agree with this placing. I think a lot of people love this section, and for very good reason. But with that, we can move on to probably my favorite section of Sonic Adventure 2's levels ever. For my favorite section out of any Sonic Adventure 2 level, I decided to go with the bridge section from Radical Highway. I couldn't tell if I wanted the missile section here or this here, but I decided to go with this probably for its longevity because it's a little longer than just 14 seconds, give or take. As for why I like it mainly though, again, the alternate routes, I'm a sucker for those. That's why you play Sonic games, so that's already great. It's also just a lot of fun to go through here, and there's a lot to look for if you're willing to put in the time. There's a spring at the bottom here that when you find it, you feel super ingenious because you were curious and the game rewarded you for that. One of the best placements for any ancient ruins in this entire game rests in this section. Yeah, I said it. I know that's a stretch for some, but I personally think it's one of the best. You could choose to walk on the beam rather than worry about platforming and your homing attacks. You can ride the rails if you wish. You can do a trick at the end. Just the sheer complexity of the section really goes to show how much Sonic Team had passion and care allocated to making Sonic Adventure 2. Granted, yes, it was going to be the last Sonic game ever, so obviously hitting a home run on your ending play would make the most sense, but the point still stands. It's just an example of Adventure 2's design philosophy working at its absolute best, and I could not think of a more deserving section of being at the top of this list. And that will bring this video to a close. But if you would, I'd like to see some opinions in the comments below. Why don't you guys tell me your favorite sections in Sonic Adventure 2? Maybe I missed something, maybe I didn't consider some facet or what have you, but you guys always offer great and unique opinions that I love skimming through, so please feel free. With all of that said, though, I want to thank you guys for watching a video, and on that note, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care for now, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.